Hey guys, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. In today's video, I am reviewing the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. Before we jump into this review, if you are new here, welcome to my channel. I upload makeup, beauty, and lifestyle videos Monday and Friday at 2, so don't forget to subscribe before you leave and hit that notification bell so you can know and remember when I upload. I've owned this foundation since April of this year, so I've had it for about 7 to 8 months, and I wanted to wait a couple months before I reviewed that foundation because I wanted to test it out and really make sure that it worked on oily skin. This foundation is $49 and you get 1 fluid ounce. That is pretty steep for a foundation, but I'm going to make sure you get a good review on this and you can decide for yourself whether this is worth your money. So on Sephora, it says that this foundation can wear up to 16 hours. On my combination oily skin, it can wear up to anywhere from 8 to 9 hours with a good primer before it starts looking a bit rough. I do have 2 primers that work really well with this foundation. The first being the Touch and Soul Glassy Primer. This is more of a hydrating base. If you need more of that moisture and you want to combat that texture, this is a really great primer to use. But also the Water Beauty Illuminating Glow Ahead Face Oil is another great primer as well. This is really great for those of you with oily skin and dry skin. I mean, really anybody can use this, but this adds more of a grip for that foundation and makes it a little bit more long-lasting. This primer is more of a hydrating base. It says on the Sephora website that you shouldn't use a primer for the best results. Personally, I think it works really well with a primer, especially these two. So I think that's a matter of preference, but if you do prefer just using a moisturizer as your primer, I suggest the Origins Energy Boosting Gel Moisturizer. This works really well with that foundation, and if you're not a primer girl or you feel like your skin just looks better without a primer, this is a really great option for you. There are 34 shades of this foundation at Sephora, and then there are 33 at Ulta. My perfect combination shade of this foundation is the shade Gobi and Fiji. I really like the shade options that Nars offers. I'm just extremely picky, so I have found my perfect match in this foundation for right now. So as far as applying this foundation, I'm going to use a mixture of my Real Technique sponge and, do I have a hair on that? No, I don't. And my Morphe M439 brush. I'm going to show you the sponge on this side and the brush on this side. To mix the foundations, I'm just going to put a little dot of this onto the back of my hand. Do not need a lot. If you go overboard with this foundation, you will be sorry. It will emphasize so much line and texture, it's not even funny. So I just put the foundation right next to each other. I'm just going to use my finger to mix the two. And then I'm gonna apply the excess of this on right here. I'm gonna start in my nose area with the sponge, and then I'm gonna blend out because I don't want a bunch of heavy coverage underneath my eyes, because I feel like it definitely does emphasize texture if you get it too close to your eye area. So that's one swipe with my sponge, and then I'm going to show you with the brush. So this side is definitely a little bit more matte, and this side a little bit more dewy and luminous. I do prefer the brush right now, so I am going to use the brush to apply the rest of this, but I'm going to build up the coverage and show you guys the beautiful, full coverage look that I get with this foundation. I build this up slowly because if I put too much product on, it's going to look cakey and it's not going to be flattering. It does not take a lot to get a full coverage look. I think I am going to build it up just a little bit more around my jawline, but I definitely do not want to put too much on there because I have put too much on the outer edges of my face and it does look cakey. Definitely do not want to go overboard, but I feel like I need just a little bit more coverage. I actually use my fingertips sometimes to blend out underneath my difficult skin areas like underneath my nose. Sometimes foundation just really cakes up underneath there, so I take my fingertips and just blend it in. I also will blend the foundation in between my eyebrows because for some reason these two areas tend to get very cakey and they don't blend as well with a sponge or a brush. So I forgot to mention that I actually didn't use any of these primers today that I just mentioned. I used my Origins Ginseng Moisturizer. So yes. This foundation is made for normal, dry, and combination skin. I personally have combination oily skin and I love this foundation. And I've tried it out for 7 months. Now I will say that I had a really hard time wearing this foundation in the summer. First of all, in the summer I'm not really looking for a full coverage foundation anyway, so this definitely was not my first choice. But for the colder months and the weather that we're having right now, it's a bit cold outside and my skin is just loving this foundation. As I continue with the rest of my makeup, I'm using my Too Faced Sweet Peach Powder to set this foundation. So this foundation has a natural satin finish, but it's full coverage. Also, it's a very lightweight foundation. My skin can breathe under this foundation, which is very rare for a full coverage foundation. Foundation. I was actually looking at the description on the website and it said that it has new technology that makes it feel really lightweight, but it's that full coverage. So I actually do agree with that. I feel like there definitely is some type of technology in this foundation that is making it that really cool formula. Most foundations do irritate my skin, especially underneath my nose, in my T-zone, and a lot of times on my chin line. Chin line? Jawline. But this foundation sits so lightly on my skin that I don't have that problem. It also works really well with my texture. The only thing that I would really recommend you being careful about is how much you apply, because I've noticed that if you do over apply this foundation, you will emphasize lines like your smile lines right here, or sometimes I'll get like emphasis on lines in between my brows or on my forehead. Usually most of the coverage needs to be in this area, not so much on your jawline and towards your hairline. Usually you want to blend it out pretty well the further you get away from this section of your face, if that makes sense. I'm going to keep talking, but I am going to go in with my Chanel Cream Bronzer. I feel like I need to address a couple more things about this foundation. I totally did not put concealer on. I need concealer. Big time. You know what? Let me go in with my ColourPop No Filter Concealer. I really hope it works, even though I've just set my foundation. That was a little bit out of order, but that's okay. Now I'm going into my Chanel Cream Bronzer, and I'm going to continue talking about this foundation. So out of all of the NARS foundations, this is the only foundation that I can wear. So this is where I wanted to talk about the ingredients of this foundation. So this foundation has raspberry, apple, and watermelon extracts, and all of those are supposed to support the skin's elasticity. I cannot say that. Elasticity. And over time, this foundation is supposed to smooth out texture and give you like a nice radiant skin. Now, if you look back in some of my videos, I had a really big issue with texture. I don't know, guys, there definitely has been an improvement. I do think it has to do with my skincare, most definitely, but I don't know. I mean, I've been wearing this foundation a lot. Not super consistent because I do switch out my foundations and keep them in rotation for my channel, but I don't know, guys, there definitely has been an improvement in my texture. Like, my skin looks so much better than in my past videos, and I don't know. I mean, I have been wearing this foundation a lot. Ever since I started doing this, I cannot stop. My nose looks so much better. Contoured. So I'm gonna go in with a powder. This is actually a finishing powder from JOUER, but I'm gonna use it as a bronzer. It's a little bit of a darker shade, and I wanted to put this. Oh, I dropped it. Okay, whatever. I'll use this brush. I'm just gonna put a little bit of this on my cheeks. And it doesn't pull too orange on me. It definitely does a little bit, but I kind of like that. It makes me look a little bit more bronzy. So smoothing and airbrushy. I love it. For my blush, I'm using my ALAMAR Cosmetics blush, and I'm using this pink one right here. So as far as like ingredients in the foundation, as I've been saying for like forever, they are conscious of what they put in that foundation, and I think that it does make a difference in how my skin reacts to it, because otherwise I have such an issue with skin flare-ups and texture mania. As far as the packaging is concerned with this foundation, it feels very luxurious and quality. So I love that it comes with a pump. That is a must-have for me. That is what I prefer in my foundations. But I will say it is not travel friendly. I made the mistake of traveling with this foundation, and no, especially for me. But I need to finish up the rest of my makeup because I've been sitting here with like the bare minimum. So for my eyes today, I'm actually going to go with my Naked 3 palette. I have not used this in forever. I need to test it again. I can't get it open. Oh my word, I still have the brush in there. I hate these brushes. Not to be mean, but they're not very good, in my opinion. I'm going to go in with this Luxie large shader brush. You know what? Should I bring you guys in a little bit? I think I should. I'm going to start with this shade in Limit. It's a nice matte shade. Oh, I'm so excited. I haven't used this palette in such a long time. I feel like some of these shimmers are very, very similar to each other. Like these two right here. They pretty much look like the same color repeated. I'm going to go into Nooner right here. This is a little bit of a darker purple shade. And I'm going to go in with a little bit more of a precise brush. I'm going to use my JOUER brush. Ooh, that eyeshadow is a little bit loose in the pan. I'm going to take a fluffy brush and just make sure that everything is blended together on the outer edges. So I like doing this step quite often actually. Otherwise my eye looks are very messy and harsh. I'm going to use Dust for my shimmer. It's like a really pretty soft pink shimmer. I think I remember this one being very crumbly. I do really like that look. But I have so much sparkle underneath my eyes now. Like, I am so glad that I said that. I'm using my Kat Von D tattoo liner really quick to get a nice thin line. Need a light layer of mascara. So the only thing that I've noticed with the Urban Decay eyeshadows is that they're really, really bright and pigmented when you put them on, but they do kind of fade. I've noticed that that shimmery shade has definitely settled into my skin already, and it's still really pretty. It still catches the light and everything, but it's definitely not as bright as when I put it on. I'm going to put on my magnetic eyelashes really quick. This is from BELLECHLOE, but this is what they look like. If you guys need to watch a tutorial on how to apply these, I do have a tutorial on these if you're interested. But these are super easy to put on. This has nothing to do with the foundation, but really quick, I'm going into my Naked palette again, and I'm just taking the Limit shade again, and I'm going to blend that on my lower lash line really quick. And then I'm taking a little small brush and I'm going into that really bright shade, and I'm going to drag that in my inner corner and kind of all the way down into my lower lash line. I'm really surprised that I went for a cool tone look today, honestly. Also, I'm really liking this bronzer. Totally unrelated, but I really like it. I'm using my HOURGLASS Ambient Lighting Powder to powder to get a really nice luminescent glow. I used to be obsessed with this powder, but honestly, this is more for like my natural makeup days. I'm more of the very, very much there highlight. For my lip combo, I'm just using my Revolution Pro lipstick and my Iconic London Plumping Gloss. This color is really pretty. Ooh, can't go out too far. I do truly love this foundation, but I always recommend going into Sephora or Ulta and getting yourself a sample and trying it out because it's very expensive, and I would not want any of you guys to go in and purchase the full size of this foundation and it not work for you, because everybody's skin is so unique and so beautiful. Definitely try it out first. Sample sizes are a must when it comes to foundation. I know this foundation will last a very long time for me because I mixed the two together and you only need a little bit to get the coverage that you need. So this will definitely last you if you're looking for a great full coverage foundation that is lightweight. So I really hope that this was helpful for you guys. I feel like there needed to be a foundation review on this for those of you who have fair skin and oily, and for all of us who struggle with the texture. I feel like I have my own club out there with people who struggle with that. Hopefully if you were looking into purchasing this foundation, hopefully my tips and just my overall thoughts on this foundation were helpful for you. So let me know if I missed anything in this review, or if you have any questions. I am more than willing to answer your questions. I definitely will have some more coming up for you guys on newer foundations. Thank you so much for watching this. I really appreciate the support, and don't forget to like this video before you leave, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!